Money has no conscience. It only follows orders, your orders. Some people use money to serve their dreams, others become servants to their money. The difference between the two isn't the size of their bank account, it's the depth of their wisdom. So today, let's talk about a truth most people never understand. Wealth is the slave of a wise man and the master of a fool. We often believe that money changes people, that wealth somehow transforms a humble man into an arrogant one, or a kind person into a greedy one. But the truth is far deeper. Wealth doesn't create character, it reveals it. It's not a sculptor shaping who you are, but a mirror reflecting what already exists within you. When a poor man becomes rich, he doesn't become a new person. He simply becomes more visible. The qualities that were once hidden by struggle are now amplified by success. If he was generous in scarcity, he will be even more giving in abundance. But if he was selfish when he had little, wealth will only magnify that selfishness. Money acts like light. It exposes the hidden corners of your heart. When you have little, your choices are limited and your flaws can stay covered under excuses. But once wealth gives you power, comfort, and influence, it removes those excuses. Suddenly, you have the freedom to act exactly as you wish, without restraint. And in that freedom, the truth of your nature comes forward. A fool uses that freedom to feed his ego. A wise person uses it to fulfill his purpose. Wealth doesn't corrupt, it simply unmasks. There's something fascinating about how people respond to prosperity. Some use it to uplift others, to build schools, to create opportunities, to give hope where there was none. Others use it to dominate, to boast, to make others feel smaller. Both are standing on the same mountain of gold, but one stands tall in gratitude, while the other drowns in pride. This is why wisdom must always come before wealth. Because without inner balance, money becomes a magnifier of chaos. Every coin you earn carries your reflection. The way you spend it, save it, or share it speaks louder than the balance in your account. Some people become richer and smaller at the same time because their wealth grows, but their soul shrinks. Others become richer and greater, not because of what they have, but because of what they give. Wealth does not define you. It only describes you more clearly. It's not your master or your maker. It's a mirror. And every time you look into it, you don't see money, you see yourself. There's a quiet power in wisdom, the kind that doesn't need to shout, but everything around it listens. Wealth is one of those things. When guided by wisdom, wealth becomes a loyal servant, working silently to build, create, and sustain. But when it falls into the hands of foolishness, it turns into a ruthless master, dragging its owner wherever desire demands. The wise person doesn't chase money. They attract it through purpose, discipline, and clarity. Their focus isn't on possessing wealth, but on directing it. They understand that money, like fire, can either cook your meal or burn down your house. It all depends on whether you control it or it controls you. Wisdom commands wealth because it sees beyond the moment. It knows that money is temporary, but principles are eternal. A wise person builds systems that last, while a fool lives for the rush of spending and the thrill of showing off. The fool's life revolves around the next purchase, the next luxury, the next applause. But wisdom teaches restraint, that real success isn't about owning more, it's about needing less. When you are wise, you use money as a tool to create freedom, not as a chain to prove your worth. Foolishness, on the other hand, obeys wealth blindly. It treats money as the ultimate decision maker, following wherever greed leads. It is easily seduced by appearances, by the illusion that more money means more power or happiness. The fool doesn't guide wealth, he serves it. His emotions rise and fall with his earnings. His peace depends on his possessions, and his identity hangs on material symbols. The more he chases money, the more money escapes him, because wealth was never meant to be pursued like prey, but managed like responsibility. The wise person understands flow, that money should move with purpose. They invest, not just to multiply wealth, but to multiply impact. They give, knowing that generosity doesn't reduce their wealth, it refines it. They see money as a current that, when properly directed, nourishes everything it touches. The fool, however, builds dams of greed and fear, trying to hold it all, only to find himself drowning in the very thing he worships. Wealth listens to wisdom, but it commands the fool who refuses to listen. Desire is powerful. It fuels ambition, pushes us forward and keeps us dreaming. But desire without discipline is like a wild horse without a rider. It runs fast, but without direction, destroying more than it builds. Discipline, on the other hand, may seem quiet, even boring at times, but it is the force that turns desire into destiny. Every person who has ever built something lasting, a business, a legacy, or a life of meaning, learned to master discipline long before they mastered success. Because success is not born from excitement, it is born from endurance. Desire starts the journey, but discipline finishes it. In the world of wealth, discipline is the bridge between intention and achievement. Many people desire riches, but few are willing to follow the structure, patience, and restraint required to sustain them. The fool acts on impulse, spending when emotions rise, and saving only when fear strikes. The wise, however, operate from principle. They control their habits before their habits control them. They understand that money grows through patterns, not passion, through consistency, not chaos. Discipline teaches you when to wait, when to act, and when to walk away. It keeps you grounded when desire tempts you to move faster than wisdom allows. Desire screams for instant gratification, whispering promises of happiness that fade the moment they're fulfilled. Discipline, however, demands patience, and in return, it delivers peace. The person who is ruled by desire lives in constant hunger, always reaching for something more, yet never feeling full. The one guided by discipline, though, learns to enjoy balance, to appreciate the steady rhythm of progress rather than the temporary thrill of indulgence. Discipline transforms wealth from something you chase into something you attract. When desire leads, you become reactive, chasing opportunities, people, or pleasures that feed your ego but starve your soul. When discipline leads, you become proactive, choosing wisely, investing intentionally, and living purposefully. The difference between poverty and prosperity often lies not in how much one earns, but in how well one controls desire. Discipline teaches you to say no when your emotions say yes, and to stay the course when comfort tempts you to quit. Because in the end, it is not desire that builds empires. It is the quiet, consistent strength of discipline that sustains them. Every great life begins not with what a person owns, but with what they live for. Purpose gives direction to everything: time, talent, and even money. Possession, on the other hand, is empty without meaning. There are people who have gathered countless things, yet feel completely hollow inside because their possessions serve no greater purpose than to impress or comfort them. But a person who moves with purpose, even with little, walks with a sense of power that no amount of wealth can imitate. Purpose makes everything valuable. Without it, even the greatest treasure loses its worth. When purpose leads, possessions follow naturally. Wealth becomes a means to build, to serve, and to fulfill. But when possessions lead, purpose disappears beneath the noise of greed and comparison. Many chase possessions because they mistake accumulation for achievement. They believe having more means being more. But possession without purpose is like a ship without a compass. It moves, but in circles. You may gain everything the world offers and still lose yourself, simply because you forgot why you began the journey in the first place. The wise never forget that money is a tool. It's not the destination. Purpose gives money its direction and meaning. Those who live by purpose use their possessions to create impact. They don't measure their success by what they hold, but by what they give and how they grow others. They understand that wealth is not about the size of your house, but the strength of your heart. Possessions can be stolen, lost, or destroyed, but purpose endures. It cannot be bought or borrowed. It lives in the quiet conviction of knowing who you are and what you are meant to do. When wealth flows from that place, it brings peace rather than pressure. The fool chases possessions to fill a void, thinking that comfort will cure emptiness. But the wise fill the void first, with vision, integrity, and gratitude, and then let wealth serve that foundation. Possessions are meant to be handled by purpose, not the other way around. Because when purpose sits in the driver's seat, everything you earn finds meaning, and everything you build stands the test of time. Purpose creates direction, and direction gives every possession a reason to exist. In a world that glorifies instant satisfaction, choosing peace over pleasure has become an act of quiet rebellion. Pleasure is loud, it demands attention, it promises quick comfort, and it often leaves emptiness in its wake. Peace, however, is subtle. It doesn't rush, it doesn't shout, and yet it holds a strength that pleasure can never imitate. Pleasure is about moments. Peace is about meaning. One fades when the excitement ends, the other stays, steady and calm, even in silence. The wise understand this difference. They know that the pursuit of pleasure leads to exhaustion, while the pursuit of peace leads to fulfillment. Pleasure feeds the senses. Peace nourishes the soul. Pleasure tempts you with immediacy, the thrill of a purchase, the sweetness of indulgence, the rush of attention. But what follows is often a quiet emptiness that whispers, "Is this all there is?" Peace never leaves you with that question. It doesn't entertain the surface. It strengthens the core. It comes from harmony between your values and your actions, between your words and your heart. When your external life reflects your internal truth, you experience peace, a sense of rightness that no luxury, no applause, no temporary escape can provide. Pleasure tries to distract you from your pain. Peace helps you understand it. Pleasure numbs, peace heals. The fool lives chasing pleasure, thinking it will bring peace. But every time he reaches for more, he ends up feeling less. His happiness depends on moments he cannot control. The next party, the next purchase, the next praise. The wise, on the other hand, build peace from within. They guard their minds from chaos, their hearts from envy, and their time from waste. They understand that saying no to some pleasures is not loss, it is strength. They trade temporary highs for lasting harmony. Their joy doesn't depend on what they get, but on who they become. Pleasure is easy. Peace is earned. It requires patience, self-control, and perspective. It demands that you rise above impulses and see the bigger picture. Pleasure ends when the noise fades. Peace begins when the noise fades. And while pleasure seeks to excite you, peace seeks to elevate you, to lift you to a place where your soul finally rests, unshaken by the world around you. Luxury is admired by the eyes, but legacy is remembered by the heart. One fades when time moves on. The other grows stronger with every passing generation. Many people spend their lives chasing luxury, the perfect house, the newest car, the brand that announces their success. But very few stop to ask a deeper question. What will remain when all of this is gone? Luxury is temporary comfort. Legacy is eternal contribution. The wise understand that it's better to leave behind something meaningful than to live surrounded by things that only shine on the surface. Luxury decorates your life. Legacy defines it. When a person lives for luxury, their goals revolve around self. How to look richer, how to live softer, how to feel more important. But when a person lives for legacy, their focus shifts outward. How to make others stronger, how to leave something that continues to grow after they're gone. Legacy requires vision. Luxury only requires money. You can buy luxury with wealth, but you must build legacy with wisdom. One demands spending, the other demands sacrifice. The fool exhausts his life collecting symbols of success, while the wise invest their life creating impact that outlives them. The true measure of wealth is not what you accumulate, but what continues to serve others after you are no longer here to manage it. Luxury loses value with time. Styles change, possessions decay, and memories fade. But legacy gains value with time because it multiplies through lives touched and hearts changed. Every invention, every act of kindness, every lesson passed down, these are the real treasures that form the foundation of legacy. The wise build institutions, raise strong families, and inspire minds. The fool collects fleeting pleasures that die the moment they do. Legacy is not about fame, it's about influence. You may never be known by the world, but if your life lifts even one person toward a better path, you've already built something greater than luxury. The pursuit of luxury satisfies the ego. The pursuit of legacy fulfills the soul. Luxury can make you comfortable, but only legacy makes you significant. One belongs to you for a moment, the other belongs to the world forever. And while luxury ends at the grave, legacy begins there, because what you leave behind speaks long after you're gone. Wealth will never define you. How you use it will. Choose purpose over possession, peace over pleasure, and wisdom over desire. Let money serve your vision, not silence your values. In the end, true richness is not in what you have, but in what you leave behind.